content of important organ, important part of Sushma Sarira. Okay, Kundalini is one of the energetic giver, actually, energy giver it is. It is an energetic organ, okay, which is very, very essential for conduct of our Sushma Sarira as well as physical body also. So Sushma Sarira is making the physical body activate, act, okay. The action comes from the initiation of Sushma Sarira. Now let us see the main parts of the body is, again we will recapitulate that I, me and my body, okay. I is having the name of Atma. The name of I is Atma and no other name is there. All are only, they are all words, standing for or in the place of Atma. Soul, self, spirit and all those things. They are not names in fact. They are only adjectives or are they words representing pronouns, they are all pronouns, right? Fine. So now me also, me is not I, okay? So me is different, I is different. Me is Sushma Sarira. So that is the body which is invisible, containing invisible parts totaling to 19 in number. Chiefly, Sushma Sarira is headed by mind, okay? So this mind and all other 18 parts will be conducting the duties of astral body or Sushma Sarira. Okay. So now in this Sushma Sarira, we understood 19 parts are there. But the activating part, that is also very important. We should learn that. That is the cause of action. Okay. The cause of action is Kundalini. Okay. Kundalini is a part, it will have a system of energy inflow. Kundalini, because of Kundalini, the energy flow happens. Like blood circulates through nervous system, the energy should go into each part of the body. It has got another energy nervous system. It is energy nadi tubes. They are all energy transmitters, energy distributors. So this is very important, as blood circulation is very important for the physical parts of the human body. Similarly, the energy transmissions or energy distribution points and energy is very, very important for all the subtle bodies to work. All subtle bodies only will work. Physical bodies are only instruments. They work at the instance of subtle organs. So one of the important and foremost thing which is very, very essential is Kundalini system. Okay. Now we will see how this. Yesterday we know the Kundalini has got 6 chakras, Shat chakras. To recapitulate, I am again revising it. 6 chakras are there, Shat chakras. In the society, some people say 7 chakras are there. Okay, so all right, there is no problem. 7th is also is there, but that is not a chakra. It is only the product of 6 chakras. When 6 chakras are functioning efficiently, then 7th chakra will be working very actively. 7th chakra will be activated only by the functioning of other 6 chakras. So that is called Sahasrara. That is a jubilant, vibrating, and a very, 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 very energetic part that gives the whole human body a gift of functioning. Then only our functions will be very, very regulated. Sahasrara will regulate all our functions. It represents higher consciousness. So that is the state of the functions, that is state and the result of the function of 6 chakras. 6 chakras are starting from Mooladhara and Swadhisthana like this. Now yesterday there was a request for a diagram. Now today we will see the diagram. I brought it out. Okay. This is the diagram. Are you able to see? Are you able to see the diagram of chakras?
Yes, sir. We are able to.
Yes, you are able to see. That's fine. In this figure, we have the Muladhara is in the top, in the bottom of our human spinal system. It is at the level of reproductivity organs. Okay, so the Muladhara is responsible for a sort of functioning of reproductivity, functions of reproduction, and all those things will be taken care of. And there the life starts. It's the beginning of life, and all sorts of qualities required for the life will be attended to by this Muladhara chakra. All actions towards caring, infant are already uh, available in this chakras. Okay, so man will be taken care of, and then once he grows on like this Muladhara chakra will be, of course, dependent on the self-caring, and thereafter the consciousness will grow, and they also acquire the symptoms of Swadhisthana. As and when the surroundings are benefiting the mind factor, as and when the mind acquires certain more information, then his conscious level will step up from Muladhara to Swadhisthana, from Swadhisthana to Manipura. So these are all the three chakras are there, which are very common to all the people. Muladhara is common to everyone, not only human, for all the people, for all the creations. Okay. And then there is this element of choice in Swadhisthana. So the human mind acquires the level of Swadhisthana, means then he will have a sort of orderly life, and he will choose what is what and everything, little to some extent, but concerning only to self, and concerning only to himself and his family members and all those. Around that, his sight is very restricted. His expansion of consciousness is limited to only personal needs, leading their own people. Outside the house, he doesn't know. Okay, he will not be having any kind of consciousness on that. And then that is why yesterday I have been telling already. Okay, now Swadhisthana to Manipura. Manipura, in this chakra, they have given us wisdom. But it is in a common sense. It is not a wisdom, in fact. It's a knowledge based. Manipura, he is a Pandit. He acquires all the knowledge from the available literature, from the available personalities, from all corners, wherever some information is there, they will acquire. Okay. But not intuition. There is no intuitional knowledge. This is all externally. What is available knowledge, he will acquire. Somebody said, he will read. Somebody says, he will hear. That he will explore. But intuitional knowledge, a sort of a creativity, will not be there with that level of Manipura people. And without limitation, without limiting himself to that, he should grow. Further, he should enhance his consciousness towards anahata. Then all sorts of these things, speaking, talking, and Manipura, that is vociferal he is. He is always talkative, chattering, and he always tries to take credit for everything. All these things will be subdued, all these things will be deduced, all these things will come down, and he becomes more or less silent. So when once he is silent, his concentration goes on to the action. Okay. Then he will be an achiever. And while achieving, he will have a sort of silence attitude. And the silence is believed to create wisdom. Always, silence is the source of wisdom. Okay. Silence is not a lazy thing, Baba. Let us not misunderstand. Somebody is silent means you don't think that he is a great fool. No. He is a he is doing a wonderful job. Being silent is a wonderful job, it's a great job in fact. Nobody can keep silent. Nahi kshanamapi jato tishtati. Akarma kot. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Even for a second man cannot sit quiet. Karyate hi avashaha. Karyate hi avashaha. Karmaha prakrutider gudaihi. Karma sarvaha prakrutider gudaihi. That's what he goes on to say. So, we have a lot of information, okay? So all actions are coming from externally. All these things are there. Nothing man can sit quiet and think. He cannot, he is not allowed because he is forced by the external things, all visuals. This Prakriti will not leave you. It will influence you so that you will forget yourself. That is what is happening. Prakriti is like that. It's a Maya. Prakriti is equal to Maya, Maya means what? Ma, yeah. Ma means no. Yeah, whichever is available is not there. That is called Maya. We are unable to see. It is available, but we take it as not available. That is Maya. It is called illusion. Illusion means you are seeing something and you are thinking something else is available. Okay, like that oasis are there. Oasis means in the desert, you see from a long distance, say so for 1 kilometer, you will think that there is water, but there is nothing. But we think like that. After going there, exactly another 1 kilometer, it will go away. Then you will think, oh, it is not here. Oh, so far away, it is still there, like this. This is a state of Maya. So we are all attracted. We are all victims of all these kind of Mayas. So we should unveil this. We should get freedom from this. That is called wisdom. So silence is one of the weapons for that. When once you are silent, your mind will not be troubled. Then it will help you to recognize the correctness, to recognize the truth. Okay. That is called prasanna chetaso hi ashu buddhi. I am speaking on silence. Why? Because this is very important for all of us. Prasanna chetaso hi ashu buddhi paryavashishtate. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirashyopajayate. Prasade, when you are keeping calm, prasada, that means very, very, very calmness in the mind. At that time, sarva dukkhanam, all sorts of violence, all sorts of troubles, worries, all these things will vanish. Hani means vanish. Understand? Then what happens? Dukkha goes and then sukha comes. That's what. Sukha, dukkha, both are one after the other, my dear friends. Okay? Sukha, dukkha goes, then sukha comes. Sukha comes and dukkha will be after that. When sukha goes, dukkha comes. It strikes to me to tell you about a wonderful philosophy of sukha and dukkha. Sukha nica, dukkha nica, chakravarta parivartante. My dear masters, kindly understand the story of sukha and dukkha. Both are very, very dangerous for us because they are never alone. They are not separable. When sukha is there, you should remember dukkha is always there with you. Sukha is not permanent one. Ananda is permanent. Don't confuse between Ananda and Sukha. Sukha is materialistic, Ananda is non-materialistic. My dear friends, kindly understand the difference. Go for the right one. Sukha means that is all materialistic Sukha. Saukhya, comfort, pleasure, peace, all these things are materialistic. So long you are put, you are having Sukha. So long you are having good sofa, you are Sukha. So long you are having AC, you will be feeling Sukha. But AC will not be permanent. Food is not permanent. Sometimes it may not be available in time. So many things are there, ifs and buts. And so Sukha is very dangerous. And it will not be permanent. When once it is not there, there is Sukha. There is Dukkha with you already. Okay. Some kind of dukkha will be there. If you are not having food in time, then you are in dukkha. If AC is cut off, you are in dukkha. Oh, I am not able to sit here. Okay. So inability creeps in. So it is like that. My dear friends, we should We should know that sukha and dukkha both are same, and if you are finding some sukha, understand there is dukkha immediately. If you are in dukkha, kindly understand that it is not permanent, and you are going to sukha after, you are going to get sukha after that. Then how to avoid sorrow? You cannot avoid because you want sukha. The moment you are asking for sukha, you are also asking for dukkha. My dear friends, kindly understand the psychology. The mind functions like that. Mind wants and suffers if wants are not fulfilled. That is the treacherous mind. That is called chanchalata. See, it is not steady, it varies. That's why mind is dangerous, people say. Mana eva manushyanam karanam moksha bandha yoho. Moksha, bandha, both are generated out of this sort of mind. Moksha means freedom. Bandha means attachment or prison, or you're bound by that certain things. You are bound by AC. You can't work without AC, you are bound. The moksha means no AC or AC or no AC. That is the freedom. Okay, I can be there. So that's kind of uh, ability to withstand or any sort of yes or no, we should know, isn't it? So in the same way, sukha and dukkha also are there. So what is the way out to avoid dukkha? So there is a way for that, because sukha and dukkha are not separable. That's why you should don't ask for sukha, then no dukkha will come to you. No sukha, no dukkha. That is called bliss. My dear friends, Amrita Swarupa, that is the thing. This kind of state of mind, every one of us have got that, in fact. Okay. Sukha and dukkha, both are absent in us, but we are not aware of that. The more and more spiritual science you are getting into, then you will be accustomed to that. You will be understanding the nature of your own self. Nature of self is sukha, dukkha, absence. There is no sukha, there is no dukkha at all. Understand? So kindly remind me for another class on the state of no sukha, no dukkha in our own mind. Okay? Not in self, in the mind. In the mind also we can find the state of no sukha, no dukkha. What is that state? Everybody will have this. We will speak on this in the coming next week. Okay. So for the time being, Anahata chakra is so important, that is the gateway of your wisdom. Then your lifestyle changes. The moment you are crossing Anahata, you are touching silence in your life, then you are elevated. Your consciousness will start working. It will be helping you towards only no sukha, no dukkha state. Okay? That is called a bliss. So from Anahata we go into Vishuddha, then immediately there will be purity in our all angles of life. Thinking, speaking and doing will be purified. And there will be alignment. Thinking, speaking and doing. Kindly remember these three. Okay. This is called Trikarana Shuddhi. Trikarana Shuddhi. Three very, very important works of the human brain. What is human mind? What is that? Thinking, speaking, doing. Okay. So Vishuddha chakra and then Agna chakra. Then afterwards, then you will be understanding in total all the aspects of humanity. Then you will start ordering others. Baba, if you are desiring any sort of happiness, please listen to me. Do this. That's it. Then they will come. What is that? What is this? Get out from here, he will say. Okay, like that easy. Go first sit in meditation, then come to me. You see? So why? Because you have achieved the supremacy and you can order everybody in an authoritative way. Your tone will be authoritative, and it is full of no flaw at all. It is devoid of any kind of flaw, full of wisdom, full of nuggets of spiritual. Nuggets means what? Nuggets means in English. Nuggets means diamonds. Diamonds like things. Very very important things. మాట్లాడితే రత్నాలు పడతాయి అంటే whenever you speak, you will speak the only golden words, diamond words. Not even iota of imperfectness, untruth, fault, faultitude will not be there. Not even iota also. So you will become very pure, like Jesus, like Buddha. Like this, they have all achieved this kind of state of mind. Vak Shuddhi. In olden days, all our ancient masters, rishis, they are all having this sort of Vak Shuddhi. Vangmaya Shuddhi. That is, whatever they speak, it will happen. Because that is required for the society. That's why it will happen. If it is not required, if you speak, it will not happen. So they used to have Vak Shuddhi. That means clarity and purity in our talk. Simple talk. Your talk is a reflection of your wisdom, my dear friends. So speech is very, very important. That is called Vishuddha Chakra. Assumes more importance in our life, everybody's life. Okay. And then we go to Agna Chakra, and from there, when once he has reached that, when once his consciousness is flowing, in knowing no bounds at all, then your Sahasrara, your entire energetic body is brightened. No? Simply your own face will give lots of lessons to others, whoever are seeing you. See, that reflects in your face. Face is the index of your intelligence and wisdom. Simply by seeing you, people can learn, and your own behavior will be the example for all others. That is Sahasrara people are there like that. They will just like that. Some people are there, if you simply see them, you will fold your hands to them. It happens because we are also that. There are so many people, so many, women also, in women folk also, sometimes we find, if we see some woman, we feel like folding our hands to them. That sort of great, noble thoughts generate from the aura of such people, great people. So, my dear masters, it is all we have to experience. This is the spiritual science. So, by understanding this, our consciousness will grow and grow. It will not stop. Okay, masters, this sort of energies we need, and these energies will be facilitated by Kundalini, okay? And these chakras will also distribute all these sort of things to all other parts. Now we will just see next slide so that you will understand. Now in this slide, you will be getting to know how the energy will be received and stored and then used, okay? Did you follow? Receipt of energy, storing, and to use whenever we need, you see, and how it is being used. So this is the story of energy coming, staying and going. Sushti, Sthiti, Laya. See, that's what. How your actions will start. How you are able to initiate your own actions with the assistance of energy. How, where from it is? It is in the Kundalini. So where it comes from? So that is the way. So we have to get from the upper worlds. Okay. All energies are there, which is energy fields in the cosmos, energy fields. And they are all helpful to all the creation here on the Earth planet, all other planets. All these energy fields will be useful to them. So like that energy we have to use. So my dear masters, see the next slide. Here it is there, energy flow path, So how our శక్తి మనకు ఎలా దొరుకుతుంది, ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది, ఎలా ఉపయోగించాలి. Energy path is very clear that you will get energy in the 1 week before. When we were talking about the habits of food, what is the food? I think I remember to have told you, the food is not giving any energy. The food is needed for the humanity. What for? So these are all the things, if in our 3 days class, we will make a lot of fun out of this. And many masters, they will be giving their opinions and they enjoy the class, which is normally not known to the people. Suddenly they will get to know the energy is not giving energy. People get surprised. What is this man telling like this? So that is the true spiritual sciences like that. But they have become doctors, engineers and all those things. They became highly qualified and come to the class and know that food is useless. And it is contra to their belief system. Yes or no? So this kind of belief systems we have to rectify. So to say, no, food is not for energy sake, then what for? Food is only to grow your personal body system. 20 kg person will become 40 kg. For that food is required. Excess food means 40 kg man will go down to 20 kg. Beware of. Excess food is dangerous. When food is giving energy, why you are bothering about excess and short? Tell us. Excess energy, if it is really gives energy to us, then if more food means more energy we should receive. It is not so. It is not the instrument of giving energy, Baba. It is not that important. Food is only a sort of retaining the body, that's it, and giving some sort of recouping energy. Suppose if you are tired, you take something, then you will get back whatever energy you were having earlier. Not more than that. Body requires some energy to grow. That's why that energy is given. That is possible from all kinds of food. Okay. So the food is there for body growth. And then what kind of energy? You have another kind of energy of sleeping, By sleeping you will get a lot of energy, but that energy is not complete. It is only to the extent what you have lost. That is also a rest. So sleeping is very required, for all the human beings. I was telling you all, isn't it? So you remember what I was telling. Sleeping is very important, that every human being is sleeping, otherwise he will not work next day. No energy, please. During sleeping mode, you don't take any food, but still you are energetic in the morning. You have received a lot of energy without food. So my dear masters, food is not necessarily to give energy, because in the sleeping mode you don't take energy, but you are getting. So the same way, but the sleeping mode is only a facility for humanity to get energy to the extent required. That's it. To the extent of exhaustion. That is the extent of recoupment. That's it. No energy supplier. Sleep is not going to, if you sleep for 1 week, you will not get energy more and more. No, you will go down again. Whatever energy available is lost. So these are the two things. Food is like that and sleep is like that. But we require that to the extent required. And that will be helpful to us. But all these two also are avoidable. But thing is that we cannot avoid, so that the third one is there. The energy from meditation you will get it. That is from the cosmos. You must get energy. That is unlimited energy you will get, and you will get resourced from the cosmos, and you will become very, very, very eminent in all angles. In all, it will also help you body growth. It will also help you sleeping mode also. You can avoid sleep, and you will have this sort of energy for utility. That is also okay. But you must be in a position to do proper meditation and get energy without fail. So this energy is the ultimate source of energy. So my dear master, this kind of energy, okay, how it comes now? In this slide, the first state is when you do meditation, then we are getting energy. So all of us know, isn't it? When once we are in meditation, then our mind becomes empty and our Brahmarandra opens up and flow of energy will be there. And then with this kind of flow of energy is more and more and more and more, what happens? It will activate third eye. You understand? This third eye. So third eye is an opening. Suppose your self and all mechanism is like an egg, like a ball, Then third eye is a sort of hole on the surface of the ball. Somewhere it will be making a hole. So that hole is now available to this human to make astral travel. Okay. Then the moment you are creating third eye, then the self will make use of that by releasing the Sushma Sarira. Then this astral body will be released. You understand? Astral travel will start. When Sushma Sarira is released, then it will slowly through the third eye, that hole is there on the surface. It will flow through that hole towards skies, towards the cosmos. It will fly away. In meditation, your subtle body will be getting out of body, and then it will travel through the cosmos, fetching all knowledges here and there, asking so many people coming. Whoever is encountering, he will be asking a lot of knowledge. And all this divine and noble knowledge, then it becomes a divine body, So the divine body will be getting all sorts of divine knowledge, divinities, it will acquire, and comes back through the third eye, and it will flow towards Kundalini. Okay. Kundalini is a part which is available in the bottom side of our back, at the end of spinal cord. It is not a visible part. Don't think that it is a visible part like a bone or flesh or glands or digestive system. No. It is invisible part, like mind. It is not seen. Like self, it is not seen. It is a part of invisible body, Sushma Sarira, Sushmangam. Okay. So that Kundalini is a facility for the Sushma Sarira to store the energy, whatever it gets. Then the astral body will get all the energy and keep it in the Kundalini. Okay. From Kundalini, all energy is pumped into the Kundalini, will be recycled, will be again sent to each chakra, to one chakra, one chakra, it will be sent, all the chakras will be there in the body. All the chakras are all invisible chakras. They are not physical. They are all connected with the energy tubes again. It's a big system. Chakra means what? It is like a center point for each. Suppose if spinal cord is one line, you have seen in here, it is a straight line in the back side. So one chakra, it will be rotating and it is connected to various tubes, to the legs, to the stomach, to the heart, to the hands, to the neck, to the head, to the brains, like this. All nadis, prana vahika in Telugu. In Sanskrit, prana vahi. Okay. ప్రాణవాహికలు ఉన్నాయి, అవి ప్రాణాన్ని తీసుకెళ్తాయి. ప్రాణ మీన్స్ ఎనర్జీ. ఓకే. So this kind of energy will be passed on to chakras from Kundalini, from the stories. People say Kundalini is a kind of a snake-like thing in the structure of human astral body. We must have heard it. Snake. Why? Because snake has got a very sharp intellect. So in the same way, the man will get sharpness as and when this Kundalini is getting filled up with energy. Then it will be there inside. It's a coil of a snake body, People compare that. There is no snake there, my dear friends. Simply it is getting compared. It is upamanamu adante. Pamu laanti. Pamu kaadu. Pamulo visham untundi, indulo visham undadu. It is not a snake there, but sharpness is taken as an indication of that. And then it will cover the whole body, no? That's why it is called. So the energies are pumped from one chakra to another chakra like that. From one chakra it is activated, it will be rotated, then prana is distributed. When once that man he is able to use the second chakra, then the energies flow will get extended there. Like that, as and when the more and more energies get pushed up to more and more chakras, then the man will be elevated automatically. So that is the reason more energy makes more chakras functioning. If your energy is not sufficient, then chakras will not be will not be active. So my dear friends, we need a lot of energy. Energy is everything. Energy is nothing and nothing is everything. So my dear friends, everything is nothing. Nothing means what? No thing. Kindly remember that. వస్తువు లేదు కానీ అక్కడ జ్ఞానము ఉన్నది, సత్యము ఉన్నది, శక్తి ఉన్నది. శక్తి కనపడదు. వస్తువు అవుతే ఆ శక్తి లిమిటేటెడ్ అయిపోయి ఆ యొక్క ఘన పదార్థంలోకి అంతనే వచ్చిపోయింది అనమాట. దట్ ఈస్ లిమిటెడ్ శక్తి. ఆ పదార్థము లేకపోతే అన్లిమిటెడ్ శక్తి ఈస్ దేర్. That is why nothing is everything. So my dear friends, kindly understand. So we need that unusual energies for us so that we will activate all the kinds of chakras and full of our tissues in the bodies will be filled up all these energies fully. So now what is from third eye astral travel happens. From astral travel you will get hold of higher consciousness. From higher consciousness that energy will be pumped to Kundalini. From Kundalini it goes to chakras. From chakras the energy tubes will take over and it will distribute to all parts of the body. Similar way it will also reach the brain cells. The brain also is one of the paths it will go. Then when the brain is filled up with that kind of energy, then the brain will issue instructions to the sense organs to act. Sense organs will be given the energy of the same kind which they receive from the cosmos. So this brain has got the energy of cosmos. Energy of cosmos is called wisdom. Energy from the Prakriti is called knowledge. If you learn from Prakriti, that is nature, that is visible things, it is called knowledge. If you get energies from the cosmos, from invisible, unknown things, and we will call it as wisdom. So the wisdom is always bound in three orbits. It has got only three. orbits. What is that? Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam. These are the energy attributes. So this brain is filled up with Satyam, Gnanam and Anantam. The energies are in that shape. So my dear friends, this brain, whoever is filled up with the energies from the cosmos through Kundalini, that man will give and pass on the same kind of energies to the sense organs. It will give to the eye, it will give to the ear, tongue, and all those things. Sense organs are there, 5 organs, it will take. Then they have that kind of feelings. Then the eyes will work accordingly. Eyes will only see only the truth. If something untrue is seen, it will refuse because the instructions are not there for that. Instructions will be issued only for noble visions. The vision is great now. The vision is not confined to the solid. The vision is confined to the unknown factors of creativity. All these things. The brain works in creativity now. It is in the matter of miracle. Miracle things only it will view, it will see. And similarly, it will also give instructions to the hands, legs to do only such things which are associated with love, light and power, which are associated with Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam. Satyam means true, love. Gnanam means light, okay? And Anantam means the enormous, great work, noble work. Okay, Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, kindly remember. And these are the attributes of the high knowledge, high consciousness, which is received through from the cosmos, through astral body, during meditation, through the third eye, pumped to Kundalini, okay, chakras, energy tubes, and then it will flow to the parts of the body. Similarly, it will reach the brain cells in the brain parts. Then directions to sense organs. Sense organs release the instructions to the duty organs. Duty organs ante karma indriyamalu. Sense organs ante gnana indriyamalu. So the gnana indriyas will receive the gnana from brain. From brain ekkunda వస్తుంది mind. Mind will be giving the brain the kind of energies, and then it will flow to the mind. And brain both are same, It is a solid instrument. Mind is the invisible and brain is an instrument for that, like Sushma Sarira and physical body. It is a Sushma Sarira, mind is all Sushma Sarira. That will use the Kundalini's energies will be used by the mind. At the instance of mind, the Kundalini will work. All Sushma Sarira is headed by mind. Mind is the ruler of the Sushma Sarira. So it will say, okay, permitted. Then Kundalini will pump. Otherwise it will be stored. That's it. Simply. Without usage. Buddhi undi. Kani pani cheyadu. The mind is not working. Mind should tell the Kundalini, oh, you are permitted to allow the passage of flow of energy. Okay, floodgates open. Then this man will become a sort of a beautiful, noble man, speaking like, ఇదివరకు చెప్పారు కదా, బ్రోచేవారెవరురా అని చెప్పి స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు. Why? Because the knowledge is on those lines. So, సెన్స్ ఆర్గన్స్ నుండి డ్యూటీ ఆర్గన్స్కి అలాంటి సమాచారం చేరుతుంది, ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ అలా వెళ్తాయి. And then you will be doing only miraculous thing to the level of wisdom, to the level of energy what you have. So the highest wisdom, then highest actions will be there, and greatest actions you will be able to do, and you will be able to achieve the unachievable things. Action starts once that instructions reach you. With the kind of wisdom Now you understood how you are able to act with wisdom. Wisdom means through meditation only. This is facility, this kind of actions will be possible only in cases of meditators. Because meditation only makes the whole third eye. When that is whole is there, then astral body can go through that. Otherwise, it will not go. It will sit there just like that. Soul will not permit this astral body to go without the whole. So, my dear friends, only meditators can have this kind of facility of fetching and getting and acquiring these kind of energies of high consciousness called wisdom. My dear friends, this is one way. Now assume we are not doing meditation at all. As you know, the whole world, say, only 1%, not even 1% are doing meditation, isn't it? So nobody is doing altogether because of lack of knowledge. It is sheer lack of information. Okay, then what is the question with them? Are they fools or what? There are so many great people have come from them, isn't it? So many physical scientists are all working day in and day out for finding out the truths. Yes or no? Then how they are able to do? They are not meditators, but yet they are doing. How can you understand this and explain? So now, my dear masters, you kindly see, in case you do not meditate, you will not get third eye. So there is no question of wisdom there. Fine? From the cosmic wisdom, you will never be having. Fine. Close. But during the sleeping mode, there is a kind of facility to the whole humanity, whether you are a meditator or not. There is a time limit, time of Brahma Muhurta. Brahmarandra is there with us. This Sushmarandra from third eye is not with us, but there is a facility given by birth to you for all the humanity. For the sake of Mooladhara, there is always, the gate is open. Not always. The facility of that Randhra is there through Brahmarandra in our head. No? On the surface of our head there is a small opening, and that Randhra is not open all through. That Randhra will allow the passage of energies from the cosmos only during the time of Brahma Muhurta. Somewhere in the night, in the Shushupta Kalamalo, Shushupta times, at that time, you will have the facility of receiving the Brahma Gnana through that source. But how long it is? It is only for a few seconds. The Brahma Muhurta, when once it is over, the gate closed. That is, Brahmarandra will get closed. So, till that Brahma Muhurta time, you will be allowed some sort of wisdom. That is only, say, 1%. Not even 1%, 0.5% you will get of the wisdom what you are supposed to have for your life. So you will get only a point negligible intelligence, negligible wisdom, and that will give you a sort of facility of this sort of intelligence to work with in the physical life. It is only helpful to some extent. That's why some people will be good. They are not meditators, but they are sufficiently good in action. They will not hurt others. They are good. But they don't do meditation because they don't have information, nothing like that. They are good. Being good is not the ultimate goal for us. Being good doesn't work. Being good fetches only one more, some good life, that's all. But you cannot escape the rebirth. Being good is, again you will get good, that's all. If you do good, you will get good back, that's it. But it will not remove you from the cycle of birth and death. So being good is not the best, is good, that's it, enough. So my dear masters, Nistraya Gunyo Bhavarjuna, yesterday we were telling, no gunas are good. No, being good is not stipulated in spiritual science. You need not be good. It does not mean that you should do bad. No, don't infer wrong knowledges. You need not be good does not mean that you should be bad. You should never be bad, and you need not be good also. If you are good also, no problem. You will get a sort of good for you. If you get bad, you will get bad. So getting bad repeatedly, it will only take away your life. So at least getting good repeatedly is fine. At least you will be coming again and again, enjoy the life. So that is preferable factors. Right, fine. Now, that Brahmarandra is facilitating to receive some kind of wisdom from the cosmos during that a tiny time, that is maybe some 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, according to the personal history. Okay. And then with that 1% of energy, the man is managing the whole world. He is shining here. My dear friends, you will be understanding, some physical scientists will be telling that human is not using his brain 100%. You understand? They are using only 1 or 2% of their brain. Why? Because they don't have any much wisdom there. They are all getting from the visuals. So, my dear masters, kindly understand that 1 or 2% of brain only have got wisdom, and we are, with a small wisdom, we are managing the whole affairs of the life with that. Suppose if you are getting 100% of wisdom, if you are using 100% of your brain, imagine how your life will be. So, my dear masters, kindly understand what the extent of spiritual science is helpful to you. And once you understand and seek that kind of 100% of wisdom at our disposal, is available. With only one stroke of meditation, you will be able to get that. That is the reason why all wise people in the olden days are called rishis. Rishis, they are all wise people. Why? Because they meditated and they get this sort of wisdom very often, and they got hold of entire wisdom for their life. And they became bright and wise. And they are the path givers for rulers also. Every ruler was to have some sort of advice from this sort of wise person called Rishi. Every ruler was having one Rishi with him to guide him. Why? Because this man has got 100% of wisdom. They will use full brain, whereas kings cannot afford to that because they don't do meditation. But they have something which is received as a gift to the human brains, and they are managing with only that small portion. They know that we are not having much more of that, so they always keep a wise person who has done meditation. So that's why from any corner you go, we need meditation. Okay. So with this kind of these things, we must thank our Patriji, who has given the wonderful science and wonderful knowledge and the best way of how to keep smiling in all our life, throughout the life. Okay. So the great secret of this, and this sort of meditation we should take up and propagate and make other people also enjoy the same kind of wisdom what we are acquiring. Understand? And this is 80% of Kundalini story. Okay. So now, can we go for a small information? I will complete this Kundalini with another 5 minutes more. Okay. So now, the Brahmarandra and meditation is of course, useful for us for gaining wisdom. So there are two paths. One is meditation, another one is Brahmarandra, Brahma Muhurta. That's all. Meditation is choice, is of choice. You have to do it. And Brahmarandra is always to you because minimum is given to you. Minimum. So that you can conduct your life with a minimum common sense. That is common for all the creations as well, but a little more for the humanity. Now, apart from these two, what more is there? If these two are not there for us, then only one is left, that is called the Prakriti. That is, you open the eyes, you see something. Whatever you have seen, then your mind says, you go after that, then you will go for that. And then after finding that, then you will start observing that and finding out what it is physically. So all physical investigations will be going on here. That is what all our physical scientists are doing. My dear friends, physical scientists means scientists who are investigating the truth by open eyes. And spiritual scientists are those who are investigating the truth by closed eyes. By antarikshana, idi bahya vikshana. Which one? Physical scientists. Ante teda. కళ్ళు మూసుకుంటే ఆధ్యాత్మికము, కళ్ళు తెరిస్తే భౌతికము. యు అండర్స్టాండ్? సో కళ్ళు కనుక మనము మూయనట్లయితే, if you are not in meditation or if you don't sleep also for Brahmarandra, Brahma Muhurta, if both are not there, then what is there? You are in awakened state. You are waking state. You are in waking state. Yes or no? During waking states, you keep your eyes well open. And when once you open, the moment you are opening, you are only seeing all the sorts of things here going on in solid. So every solid thing you will understand, every solid thing you will acquire, process, and get attached to that. All these things are there. These are all the physical samsara, prakriti. These are all things. Then you will understand all the information from that only. So your all energy systems will be filled up with this kind of knowledge. Instead of wisdom, you will go for knowledge. And those energies flow from eyes to the nadis, and from nadis to the chakras, from chakras again back to the Kundalini. That will be stored there. Now Kundalini is now full of knowledge, not wisdom. Because this man is not having any sort of third eye. And getting the information, that information is called knowledge, not wisdom. No creativity, because sense will not have any kind of creativity. All physicalities, there is nothing to know more than what it is. Already known things are there. So only known things you can understand. That is called information. This is required, of course, for physical existence, right? Fine. You have the knowledge how to get money, how to eat, what should be eaten. Fine. You eat, you earn, you construct the house, fine. Sleep. What we are doing? Taking food and sleeping, taking food and sleeping, and opening the eyes. That's it. And keeping the eyes open and go on studying the visible things. This is all what we are doing. We are not doing. We are not trying to know the invisible things, because that is in spiritual science, which is not studied by us. So only one way of science is there for us. That is called external science. So you will get the knowledge from this, and this knowledge will be in the form of energy in the Kundalini, and this will be used by again reflow to the chakras, from chakras to the nadis to tubes, energy tubes to brains. Brain will give again that kind of instructions to the eyes or all indriyas, and they will act on that. So this is the source. So my dear friends, whether you want to have the intelligence or knowledge from the Prakriti, opening the eyes without doing meditation, or you choose to do meditation and get hold of the wisdom of the creativity and new things and becoming noble, Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, if you want it in greater proportions, then why I am calling greater proportions? Because your Brahmarandra also gives same thing, little. Okay. So the greater proportions, you want 100% full of brain, you should fill up the kind of Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam. Then you can fill up the Kundalini with this kind of things. So either way you have to fill up either with knowledge or with wisdom. So your choice is there. Or our suggestion is that both of us we can take. Vikata Kavi, either milk or water, whatever it is. Both he wants. Milk or curd, whatever it is. Mahakavi Kalidasa story. So here what we should do, we should do meditation and we should also study the physical science, both. We need not give up something to take other thing, or we don't take only thing and give up some other thing. No, please. We want both. Both things you can do. You can be in meditation and get hold of the wisdom, and you can also study the physicality here, solid things, books and everything available. Consult the great masters and discuss and everything. Okay. Adhyayana, okay, fine. Sangatya, okay, then nididhyasa you have to do. So we have to go internally and externally, both ways. That makes complete life, master. If you do only one kind of life, then you will have to go to Himalayas, my dear friends. If you want only wisdom, I don't want, I will only do always meditation 24 hours, then better you go to Himalayas. When you are here, you have to be in Rome as a Roman only. So you have to be here. When you are coming into the earth planet, you have to work here. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajya hi akarmanaha. Sharira yatra pina prasiddhayet akarmanaha. The great warning is given to all of us. If you are not working here, you are unfit here. Better go to Himalayas or lonely places. Sit for salvation. But when once you have to be expert in both sciences, then be here, and Grihastha Ashrama is the best ashrama. So that is giving you a kind of dukkha rahitya as well as janma rahitya. Understand? Both are important, not only dukkha rahitya. We want janma rahitya also. So we need both sciences, Grihastha Ashrama as well as Yoga Ashrama. Both are important. We need pyramids, we need houses. It is like that. So we want everyone to be happy. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu. This is the universal wisdom. So the universal wisdom demands that we should be meditators as well as, and we had to achieve expertise in physicality. Okay. So my dear master, with this I think we understood the kind of flow of energies, internal as well as external flow, and the cause of this is Atma. Because of soul only everything will happen. If soul is not there, when sun is not there, no activity at all, zero. So if Atma is not in you, then all activities come to close, zero. So no meditation, nothing, and no life at all. So Atma is very important, that is the cause of action, and that is called Karana Sharira. So that Karana should be there, some kind of Karana is there, so you are here. And then your journey starts. So my dear friends, now we wish you your journey to be always full of wisdom as well as knowledge. Not only one thing, both we wish you. Let us all work with both kind of facilities. With this, I conclude. I understand that you got something today on developing and acquiring wisdom as well as knowledge. Okay. So, my dear masters, with this I will conclude the session, and I request our Srikanji to put us on meditation. Okay. Thank you, masters.